Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Dragon. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our monthly tarot reading for December 2025 for those with strong Gemini placements. So if you have Gemini as your sun, your moon, or your rising, this is the reading for you. And let us invoke Apollo and the Muses and ask them to shine their light upon Gemini, to guide them throughout the month, and to help them to realize the beauty of their dreams. So, Apollo and the Muses, what is the empowering and inspiring message for Gemini for December 2025? And let's take a look. Muses inspire. Okay. And our center card in the defining energy of our reading is the Knight of Discs. Beautiful energy, and this is how we are finding ourselves showing up. The fire of earth, the practical builder, the one who is invested in the energy of providing, of cultivating the earth and coming into profound mastery, developing true skill. This energy is the energy of craftsmen, of providers, of the practical builders, of the hard working empowered fathers. Really mature, beautiful energy. Where does this energy take us? Oh, and look at that. We have the 13, death. The energy of Scorpio, the magic of Hecate, taking us to the crossroads, the power of the 4. This is liminal transformative energy. And when we see the death, this signifies a true ending and a new beginning. And this energy is unavoidable. We have to pass through it. And we have to let go of our past, shed our skin, and transform. Wow, what heavy energy. Where's the death leading this night? Oh, interesting. This is really, really profound. I have a totally beautiful vision here, Gemini. What I'm seeing here is actually a transformation, an upgrade. We're seeing this prince pass through the gates of death and transition into knighthood, to become an empowered king, to take responsibility and be a mature adult. This is really profound energy, right? The princes often represent transitional energy, youthful energy. Those of us who are caught up in our imagination, trying to understand our place in the world, trying to make sense of the universe and really come into ourself, right? But in order to fully engage that energy, in order to truly be ourself, we have to make a commitment. We have to recognize that to know is also to create, and we have to take responsibility, empower ourselves, and our desires are come into the water. And we see the prince doing just that, facing death and transitioning, transforming into a mature, empowered Knight of Discs. And this is wonderful because the Prince of Swords is the heir of air, the youth that finds himself caught up in their imagination, disconnected from reality. Disconnected so much so that they often find themselves in this victimhood perspective where they believe the universe is out to get them. They're frustrated because they fail to meet their ideals. They're frustrated because the universe and the world fails to meet their ideals. They are empowered in all this wisdom and all this reason, but yet they are disconnected from reality itself. Right? They're unable to reconcile their dreams with the earth. They're unable to bring this energy into action. But what we're seeing here is that prince facing death, letting go of this limited energy, coming down from the air, flipping their poles, empowering themselves in action, taking responsibility, being that mature, practical builder, being that responsible provider. Really powerful shift here. Wow. And look at that. This is wondrous, guys. The 21, the completion of the cycle, the final moment in the tarot. Right? The moment just before the fool is born yet again. And this is empowered self-realization. The 21 reduces to the 3, the magic of the Great Mother, that power that calls us into the weave, into harmony. This is achieving true harmony, true flow, surrendering into ourselves, becoming our best self in that highest sense of its meaning. And to achieve this, we have to pass through death, live as that empowered knight. Right? Leave that past behind. This cycle leads to true realization and fulfillment. Wow. And let's continue. But this is not something that's easily gained, right? In order to truly empower ourselves in this completion energy, to really embrace that 21, to come into self realization and fulfillment, we are going to have to transform ourselves and transform the earth. We have the energy of the Eight of Discs, prudence. And this is really powerful, heavy energy, right? And it's beautiful seeing the knight facing the prudence, because the knight is capable and able, right? They can pass through this energy, do the hard work that'll lead to profound transformation. And we're seeing this empowered change, right? What is the real shift here? The prince is coming out of that intellectual energy, right? That contemplative energy, and they're coming into development energy. They're taking the time to master themselves, to do the hard work. This is profound. That's why it leads to this transformation. That's why it leads to self-realization. It's difficult, but it's so empowering, right? The Eight of Discs is all about breaking free of patterns, taking responsibility and developing the skills that are necessary, doing the hard discipline work that leads us into true mastery, right? This is the energy of the gardener, the one who cultivates the earth. And we have to take the time to see that seed come to fruition. We plant the seed and tend to the soil. We water the soil and fertilize it. We see that plant start to grow and blossom. We tend to it until it grows and becomes a tree. And even then, we may have to wait years before it bears fruit. We do that hard work knowing that we can transform and become our best self, that the fruits will grow, that we will develop the skill and mastery. We will become that empowered knight. And look at that, right? The other side of this is recognizing that we have to do the hard work to become our best self, but also recognizing that we have to pursue our truest desires. This is such passionate, powerful energy here. We have the Five of Wands, strife, initiation, right? We're building upon the Four of Wands, completion. And we are pursuing our true will, trying to become our best self, trying to bring our desires into realization, trying to take that image that's internal and see it real upon the earth. And this is heavy energy for the prince, right? The prince is caught up in the air. They're disconnected from their passions. They're disconnected from the earth. But that wisdom, that reason, that ability to understand is leading them to recognize if they truly wish to complete this cycle, to empower themselves, they have to pursue their passions. They have to take responsibility and come into the earth. They have to do the hard work to develop that true skill. And it's this development that'll lead to transformation, that'll lead to true growth and an ending of the past and a coming in to this new empowered self. And look at that. The Fool. The Fool. What glorious energy, the Fool. The Zero. The primordial elemental air. The windbag. Dionysus. Incredible energy. The Fool is all about embracing childlike wonder and audacity, taking the leap into the unknown. And these two energies complement each other. The first and the last. Both are Hestia. Both are Dionysus. Right? Profound energy here. And we're seeing that in order to complete this cycle, we just have to empower ourselves in that desire, become our best self, do the work that is necessary, recognize the need, and just embrace it. Embrace the struggles. Take that leap and do. Wow. Glorious. And look at that. Interesting. We come into other connections here. Look, this hard work is leading to greater loving connection. We're coming up and we're meeting this empowered Knight of Cups, another mature, empowered actor, right? Someone who's really pursuing love in that mature, outgoing fashion, right? They understand their desire and their loving connection to others, and they seek to share their cup, to connect to people, to uplift people, to protect community, to fight for community, to fight for other people in loving harmony. Really passionate, powerful energy, the classical knight. So not only are you seeing this transition where we're becoming that empowered knight who can do the hard work and build, but we're seeing us connect to others who are on similar but different paths, coming into loving connection that can be truly rewarding and empowering. And look at that. The Princess of Cups. New life and generation. New life and generation. Oh, wow. Wow. This is really powerful. The more I think about this, Gemini, I'm seeing a multitude of shifts here, right? We begin in this Prince energy, but when we can do the hard work, recognize our desires, we can come into this energy of that Knight of Discs, the one capable and able of really empowering and disciplining themselves, right? But once we complete this energy, then we find ourselves transitioning again, shifting again. Now we come into the energy of the Knight of Cups, the one who can really share their love, can nurture and uplift and protect the people around them. And that's what takes us to that Princess energy, right? The seven, the energy of destiny, power, potential, and motion, the one who brings the ace to completion, new life and generation, something that truly exists outside of itself, that must be nurtured and brought into loving connection, right? So this prudence energy is not just about us nurturing ourselves and becoming our best self and passing through death, but also us learning to nurture and empower others, to help them grow and blossom, to become their best self, to connect to this desire and to recognize it as our true fulfillment. Wow, wow, wow. We're seeing this mature. We're seeing this youth become mature, pursue their desires, do the hard work, right? Recognize all of this need. Recognize that if they really embrace their desires, then they find themselves connecting and building, doing the hard work of uplifting that child, dedicating themselves to the next generation, going through these transitions, right? This is a life fulfilling energy, and we'll have many faces and masks to wear. We have to take the time to figure out ourselves, to recognize our desire. And then we have to take the time to develop ourselves, to really build that skill and mastery, to truly come into our own, so that we can, again, face death and transition again, so that we can become that one who can truly connect to others, share our love, right? Come into profound connection and fulfillment, take responsibility and provide for the child, be that loving father that can see this child blossom, help them, be that foundational energy that can allow the child to truly grow and come into their own being. And when we can walk this cycle, really empower ourselves in these energies, wear the masks that are needed, pass through the gates of death, develop that true skill, pursue our desire with that true loving wildness of the fool, it leads us to true fulfillment. We come through all three of these energies, and we eventually uplift and fulfill the next generation. And we have found our purpose and are fulfilled. Wow, what a beautiful little read here, Gemini. Amazing. Thank you so much. I hope that resonated with you, and I hope you have a beautiful December. Thank you so much. Take care.